10th Assembly in the last 1 year. We're joined now by the Deputy Spokesman of the House of Representatives, Philip Agbese. Good to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
It looks like we're speaking to everybody from Benue State today. I understand you're also from Benue.
Yes, I am.
And the Chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business is also from Benue. But let me start with congratulations to you on your first anniversary of the House. But how would you assess the 10th House in the last 1 year?
Thank you so much. You see, we thank God for history. Nigerians are celebrating us today that because officially the proclamation of the House was made on June 13th, 2023, and in law we came into being since that day. Nevertheless, for the 10th House of Representatives, we started working even before that day. And why did I say so? The leadership of every parliament is very key in determining the success of that parliament. So before we came on board, in line with the standing orders of the House, members across the various political parties, the 8 participating political parties in the National Assembly, we had to, sieve from the lot, all the contestants who wanted to be given the opportunity to lead the parliament and make a choice in arriving at the best candidate suitable for the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. So before we were even inaugurated, we had considered some of the very critical issues. Remember, we were coming from a national election that had polarized the country. Our unity was a big issue as a nation. And we understand the critical role of the parliament, in building bridges across political lines, across religious divide. So we arrive at the choice of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, to lead the 10th House of Representatives. So before our inauguration, in line with the standing order, we elected His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas and Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who now in turn inaugurated us. So in getting it right, the result that Nigerians are seeing today, of course, is our collective effort. What we saw.
When you say result, pardon me to comment, I'm not sure Nigerians, have accepted that they are seeing result. When you say because you also mentioned earlier, just a minute, when you said, you also said earlier, the reason Nigerians are celebrating you, because the conversation on the streets is slightly different. The Nigerians might be a bit more sympathetic towards the House of Representatives. It doesn't mean that they are necessarily celebrating you.
Well, I will go into some of the details, because you see, what we did in the last 1 month, and I'll give it to the leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. We went back to the people in an opinion poll. There's this saying that, he who is innocent fears no accusation. We sent out, questionnaires to Nigerians to get feedback, because we are representing the people, we are working for the people. So on our own, we sent out questionnaire to our leaders, our employers, to say, how do you think we have performed in these areas? And I want to go into some of the details. First, after inauguration, this current House has received, we have, put together legislative instruments, first called bills, 1,351 legislative instruments in terms of bills. Bills that will shape the future of this country. Bills that will translate into laws that will impact positively. Some of these bills are new, in terms of what laws to make to better the country. Some are seeking amendments to our existing laws in the country. A good example, the issue of constitutional amendment. Nigerians are interested in it. Since 1960, there have been this debate about whether the 1999 Constitution is the people's constitution, whether we need a new constitution, people talking about referendum, and all manner of things. We've gone very far with the debate on local government autonomy, which the executive, as it stands today, has equally, taken it up to champion, because as representative of the people, people who went to the grassroots to be voted, And having arrived here, still knowing very well that the employers are still the masses at the grassroots, in line with our legislative agenda, the 9-point agenda of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, which is the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives, to see those critical areas that we can affect the lives of our people. We have equally, debated 671 motions in 1 year.
And it's interesting as you roll out these figures. You've also talked about how these bills will shape the future of Nigeria, which is interesting. But I'm sure that Nigerians right now will say we're talking about the now and the challenges of the now, the economic challenges and the security challenges of the now, and not necessarily the future. And they don't think that you're doing enough to hold the executive accountable, ensuring that its policies have a human face.
Well, we are actually doing enough. Nevertheless, this is not the best that we can do. His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, has impressed it, on us, the members of the Parliament. And in other fora, during public engagement with the masses, to say, we understand the pains of our people. We know exactly, the issues. First and foremost, you must know where you are coming from to know where you are going to. We came on board at a time things had gone bad totally with the country. The insecurity situation that we have today was not created by the current administration. We inherited it. And part of the things that government has done, the federal government, under His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to rejig the security architecture, to see how possibly to make some impact. And in doing that as a parliament, we have been able to hold these appointees, to account to the Nigerian people through the parliament and other activities.
Let me ask you directly.
Yes.
Which of the executive decisions, or how many executive decisions have you interrogated in the last 1 year?
Quite a good number of them. First and foremost, when we came in as a parliament, within the first 1 week, remember that His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did remove the fuel subsidy upon assumption of office May 29. So 14 days after the parliament was inaugurated, and that was our second or third day of sitting, we debated the impact of that policy issue on the well-being of Nigerians. And in doing so, we took into consideration, because as a parliament, we had cross-section of debate from every segment, from the opposition, the ruling party, every view. We considered every view. And we agreed as a parliament that, yes, we are in solidarity with the executive on the removal of fuel subsidy. Because for a very long time, very few, minute, insignificant minority of the Nigerian populace have benefited from the issue of fuel subsidy. So much taken away, money meant for infrastructure development, building of schools, health facilities, taken away by a few insignificant number of our populace. And we all agreed that to end that high level of corruption in the country, we agreed with Mr. President that fuel subsidy removal was important. And as a parliament, we went further to ask, what then do we do in alignment, in agreement with Mr. President, to see that the ordinary man on the street benefits from this harsh policy, even though it was important? And we agreed, and we moved the motion, deliberated, and sent, our resolution to the executive that Mr. President must provide immediate palliatives. As a parliament, again, we showed our concern how, savings from the fuel subsidy removal must be reinvested in a way and manner that it will have impact on the common citizens of this country. And that is why today you have seen in the Ministry of Works, the performance of the minister in terms of building infrastructure, roads across the country. So in the last 1 year, what I want Nigerians to understand, because every parliament has its own posture, every parliament has its own modus operandi, What is our posture in this parliament? Some of us are time-tested generals.
But Honorable, just a minute, because some people have said, I heard you talk about the palliatives. Some people have said that even the lawmakers contributed to how that palliatives went, because they said some of you got palliatives and you never really took them back to your constituents to share them with your constituents. And that was a major allegation for a really long time.
You see, something happened. We, as a parliament, we have apologized because under the leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, we are not in denial of facts at our end or the ones that are in public domain. What we believe as a parliament is that truth is universal. And in stating the obvious, we made it very clear to Nigerians that some of the circumstances surrounding the issue of palliatives were beyond our control. I'll give you a good example. 3 things happened within the period. The Ministry of Agri was responsible, for the provision of the palliative. They were not provided to every member at a go. Not all the 300, for logistic reasons and other challenges faced by the ministry. Not every member got that palliative during that Christmas period. Myself, I got it. And when I got a palliative, I made a video to appreciate Mr. President and all my constituents, to give the palliative to them.
I wish
that notwithstanding.
Philip, I wish I could stretch this conversation with you, but we do have to leave it there. We're also going to be speaking to your colleague, YV, who is the chairman of Rules and Business, in just a moment, to talk more on the bills that you have been able to put in place in the 10th House. But we do have to leave the conversation here. And thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Deputy Spokesman of the House of Representatives,
Philip
Agbese.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.